grew up, how does so-and-so sound? And like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm just, here for the funs of it. And it's like, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's how Rocket League started for me. Like, I was, like, just starting out, like, oh, I'll try. Yeah, I'll try and I'll see if you guys like me or not.
Welcome everyone to the ConcordXp podcast. This is the 8th installment. With me today is Wiley. He is our Rocket League player. This is his first semester playing for us, or is it second semester?
First.
Yeah, this is his first semester playing with us. He is also thinking about swapping to Apex.
Yeah, thinking about it, more likely going to stay on Rocket League for the time being. Mm-hmm. I'm looking to hit GC1 over the summer. I'm also looking to get a PC over the summer. That way I can just play at that level of competitiveness along with Will and Ethan and everything. But as of right now, it's looking like I'm going to hit GC, so I'll probably stay on Rocket League, which is really nice.
So if you just want to let us know about your journey here to Concord and how that kind of went from where you're at now.
Okay, so my hometown is Greenbrier County. I'm from Lewisburg area, and I knew about Concord just because that's usually where everybody in my hometown kind of falls to if they don't make it to WVU or another college that they want to go to. They usually come here, and I heard Concord had a good education program, so I really wanted to come here for that as well. I knew about esports through Owen Vogelsson, or V. He introduced me to the Rocket League guys, and I just tried out this semester. They were looking for somebody that could really hold a controller, and that was halfway decent. So I ended up just doing that, and now we're here midway through our season.
You just ended up filling that spot pretty fast because, like you said, about to hit GC3 here soon, hopefully over the summer.
Yeah, GC3, yeah. So I'm hoping to, but I really think it was a match meant to be, really. Just ended up being really good connection-wise. I mean, I think we might go bowling later tonight, actually.
Yeah.
It just as like a team.
Team bonding group. What rank are you as of now?
I am Champ 3.
Champ 3.
So I'll be hitting GC1. And maybe I want to hit it real soon. I'm Champ 3 Div 3 in doubles, and I'm Champ 3 Div 2 in threes. So it goes Div 4 to 1, and whenever you hit Champ 3 Div 1, you go into GC1.
So is it like 1, 2, and 3?
1, 2, and 3. So 3's the highest.
3's the highest, and you reset to the next highest. Just back at 1.
Yep.
Okay. Because I always forget how the rankings because
like Apex is swapped. So like 4 is the lowest, and then 1's the highest.
Yeah, that's how it is for Overwatch. 5 is the lowest, and 1's the highest. So if you're like Diamond 1, you're about to hit Masters.
Yeah. So like if you're Champ 1, you just got out of Diamond 3. So like it goes Champ 1, Champ 2, Champ 3. Champ 3 is your highest of the champions, and then if you hit Champ 3 Div 1, then it goes up.
And I know Siege does the 5 lowest, 1 the highest, and then I think 1 through 3 is just the easiest because I know Valorant does that same ranking style. It's like Diamond 1, Diamond 2, Diamond 3, then you move on to Ascendant 1, and Ascendant 2, Ascendant 3, and then Immortal. I don't know. Every game just has like so many different rankings, and I just always
trying to keep up with them all.
Yeah, I always forget. Okay, is the 5 good or bad? It's like if it's
whenever somebody says, "Oh, I'm gold 2" in whatever game, it's like, are you
good?
Bad or good?
Yeah. Are you just about to hit diamond or flat, or did you just literally get out of silver? Yeah, I get that. I don't know, ranks are interesting. Do you have any future plans for esports here at Concord? Just like one of your goals is to hit GC3 over the summer. Do you have any other goals in Rocket League or just in general?
So Ethan is looking to leave. He was. I'm not 100% sure, and I don't think he's 100% sure if he is going to transfer or not. If he does end up transferring, I might want to take over the captain role of the JV's team, and I might want to go through with that and try to understand a captain role a little more.
So you think you guys will have enough players for a JV team?
Yeah. We have.
Because you have 5 right now, right?
Yeah, we have 4 right now. So me, Sly, Ethan, and Will.
Okay.
And then we will get confirmed, I think, 3. So we have Helix, who is another SSL, and then we have Taylor, who is Will's friend, who's also a GC2, GC1, I think. He's around that rank. He's GCs. And then I think we have Omar, who is also a GC1, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think we're trying out Palm Tree next to see if he's a good fit. And that'll be on Monday.
So you guys got it. Because I know Rocket League is pretty popular in collegiate esports, so you guys shouldn't have too big of a problem getting people to come here. Yeah, and it's like Overwatch is kind of the same thing, kind of the same way. It's pretty easy / hard to find people.
The easiest thing is Rocket League's such a small team.
And you just need 3 people.
Rocket League's relatively cheaper in that aspect, just because you don't have to have a team of 5.
Yeah.
You have a team of 3 and maybe 1 sub. So I think in that aspect it's a lot easier.
And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I think from this point on we want to make Rocket League one of our flagship teams. I know it kind of technically is already, but I know for sure like from this point on we're going to make it like one of our like flagship games. And I think we're making you guys and Call of Duty. I think because Call of Duty only needs 4, so that's relatively pretty cheap to pick up some players, and then you guys only need 3, 4 max for each team because of sub. So I think definitely you guys in the sense of like cost, I think that's why you guys are from here on out going to be one of our flagship teams. So it's just easier because Overwatch, used to be like 6 people on a team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and
it's 2 Rocket League teams compared to 1 Overwatch.
One Overwatch team, and then now it's 5, but still 5 is pretty big for a team, and for us we always have 1 or 2 subs in there. So I think as of now I think we have like 7 or 8 people on the Overwatch team, and Overwatch team we've always had a big roster in our teams. I think me and Peyton, we like counted, because me and her have been in the program the longest, so we've seen people come and go on the Overwatch team, and I think we named like 17 or 18 people who came and go on the Overwatch team. And that's a lot of people. I think that's like the most we've had just for like one team. I think Smash.
Either that and Smash, yeah. Smash is a pretty big team as well.
Yeah, I think Smash is like either just barely beating us or we're barely beating them.
Yeah. I know like Owen, he's the captain of the gray team, and then he's on the maroon team, and so I hear a lot about that.
Yeah.
I kind of keep up with it.
Smash is just easy to just get kids to come for and recruit for.
Especially as an individual sport.
Yeah, and it's also it could be another cheap esport to recruit for, because a lot of leagues just do like 1v1s. That's just one player that you need.
Yeah.
So like if you want to get like a really good player to get like our name out there, that's just one player.
Yeah.
Instead of like 3 or 5 for Rocket League
as a team.
Yeah, as a team, it's just like you. And then you also have like the other leagues we do with like 3v3s where you have 3 people walk in, but that's still pretty small.
Yeah.
It's same size as you guys, so it's still a relatively small team.
I think that goes hand in hand with Apex as well, like Rocket League and Apex both being 3 people. But like Apex is just not as popular as Rocket League, I don't think.
No. Like I was talking to like the WVU coach the other day when they came down here, and we were talking about it, and he was like they were thinking about doing it because like they didn't have an Apex team right now, but it's so hard for like colleges who do have Apex teams to compete in collegiate esports, because no college like there's only like a few colleges that I know of that have Apex as a team, but like there's hardly anybody that has Apex as a team, so you can't really. It's the only way that you can really compete is to go on like challenger mode and like find tournaments to compete in, because like there's not enough colleges that
That's tough.
Yeah. I mean, but I've always been in Overwatch, and so we haven't really like I said back then. It's kind of hard, but it kind of isn't to find someone. It's just like with Overwatch, we've always, from the people we've always had probably like mid to sort of high tier people come in through our teams and play for us. So like, just on average, our Overwatch team has just been like probably like a mid tier team. We've had like just like slightly above to like above average players on our teams, and it's just super easy just to get someone, and you could give them like $500 or something like you're just giving them some money, and I mean they'll stay for as long as they can, and I think the best thing for a mid-tier team is you can get as many players as you can, because they're not really here for esports. I mean, they just like, it was like a hobby on the side. That's how I was. Overwatch was like a hobby for me on the side that I would just play every day after high school, and I was just like slightly better. And then when I came here to Concord, I didn't came here to Concord just to play for esports. I didn't even know we had an esports team until someone like mentioned it to me. And so I was just here for like studies, and then I heard that we had an esports team, and I know me, I love playing video games, so of course I came and tried out. And ever since, I've just kind of been doing it on the side. And it's been it's like one of my main focuses, because I want to perform well for the team, and that's why I've been on the team for as long as I have now, because I've tried my best and whatnot. But for like just Overwatch, it's just like if you pick up someone whose main focus isn't esports, I mean they'll stay as long as they can. So it's like you don't have the risk you do with like higher end players who like you recruit them and you give them as much money as you possibly can, and then they get another offer from a really big school with a bigger budget, and then they offer them more money, and then whoop, they're gone.
It's just competing prices.
Yeah,
and everything.
it's just how with everything. There's always a a bigger
fish out there.
bigger fish out there than So it's always has to compete with people in terms of like giving recruits like better packages, scholarships and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the main reasons. Personally, for me, I think it's always good to have like Austin, how he's gonna be doing it, having like that one or two flagship teams, and like keep those your main focus of like constantly finding like recruits and whatnot, just in case someone like backs out last minute because they found a better offer. And then like your other teams, it's just like you're focusing on recruiting them as well. But like if people just walk through those doors and be like, hey, yeah, I want to try out like this game that you're not like, that you're okay with like not doing that so good, then it's fine just like getting walk-ins and like, oh, let's see how you are. Oh, you're decent.
Not bad,
yeah, we can see improvement in you later on, so we'll just pick you up. How does so and so sound? And like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm just here for the funds of it, and it's like, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's how Rocket League started for me. Like I was like just starting out, like, oh, I'll try. I'll try and I'll see if you guys like me or not. And I mean, they just
that's the biggest
had a connection with them, and then just decided to put in the time and effort for it.
Yeah, I think just in terms of like walk-ins, I think we always have those walk-in weekends where like people can just walk in whenever they want to, and just like try and just see like, oh, we can see like improvements in them later on, or just like see like attitude, because that was one of the things.
That's a big one.
Yeah, another one of the things we look for in terms of just like Overwatch and just in general. But I noticed something we look for a lot in Overwatch is we see if you have a good personality, and you don't have like a super high ego, like just like you think you know it all about Overwatch, and so therefore if we give you the slightest amount of criticism, you're not gonna like freak out on us.
Yeah. So with Rocket League, what we mainly look for in a tryout, whenever we're trying them out, what we'll usually look for is attitude whenever we're losing. So like how you can deal with that, and how you can recover from that.
Right.
As well. Like just taking a loss whenever you've lost, or whenever it's a tough win, or if it's a tough loss. Either way, like overtime and you just lose the goal on a kickoff.
Yeah, I think that's one of the bigger things to look for when you're trying out for a team, is you're trying out to see not only their skill, but you're also trying out to see like how they handle themselves. And you know, you don't want someone to think, you know, they have no confidence in themselves, so they're just always going to think they're losing. But you also don't want someone who's like too confident in themselves, and then the moment they start getting, you know, they start dying and they start performing, like underperforming than they're used to, then they just completely like switch off.
Yeah, because like that's what happened when last semester when we were competing, and it was me, you know, Meg and Jay at the time. The scrims and the tournaments and stuff that we would get put in,
They couldn't handle it.
Well, we would always get pretty much put in high tier teams, even though we got put in with low tier teams. So we always got put in, you know, with Diamond, Masters, and like Pred players. So like obviously I knew like we weren't gonna win, but so I've played Apex, you know, for like a long time. So like I'm at the point now, you know, like I'm pretty much like taking like losses in a row, you know, before like I win a game. So I'm used to it. So, you know, I get it as like it's Apex is a game, you know, you're not gonna win every single match of the game. Like even though you want to, like you're not, like the only time you're gonna win every single game is if you're pretty much a pro player, or you're just like you've played the game ever since it came out. But when we were playing I'm not gonna say any names because you know, but one person in particular was, you know, I would tell them what guns like were not good at the time and what guns to use. They would not listen to me at all and pick up guns that they wanted to use, and then they would not listen to any of the advice that I gave them to help like fix their mistakes and stuff. And they were always the first person to die, and it was just me fighting like 1v3s every single match. And I'm like, you know, like it's okay, you know, we're not gonna win every single game. And I would, you know, try to like talk with them and like, here's what you did, you know, calm, like I'm just trying to give them advice and stuff. Like here's what, you know, what you did and what you could have done, you know, to like improve and stuff. But they had it in their mind where, you know, they could do whatever they wanted, you know, on their own, and they could play on their own. And both of them just ended up leaving the team because they didn't want to play anymore. Like that was their choice. Like I didn't make them leave. Like, but I'm not, you know, no team is going to recruit people that's not going to want to play as a team and, you know, just play by themselves.
The team compatibility,
yeah,
which is a big thing in Rocket League as well. Like Will has his solo plays and stuff like that because he's a solo main. That's what he mains is 1v1s. So usually he's doing his solo plays, but we're always communicating. We're always trying to play off of each other instead of just leaving one behind and one in the backfield while two of them are up.
Right. And that's another, just Overwatch, I think just all esports like requires some sort of, maybe with the exception of Smash, but I think all teams just require some sort of like team compatibility. And so when we've always tried out people in the past and they just don't listen, they don't, you know, do anything that you tell them to. I'm like with you, I'm not going to say anything, but in the past we've had a particular person who we were trying out at one point, and they were of a higher level than all of us at the time, and they were like semi-pro, and they just wouldn't listen to like any of our comms and whatnot. They thought that they can just do whatever they want because, you know, we're just a lower tier team. And so at the point, you know, our coach had said, you know, at the time our coach said, you know, hey, you know, you were kind of doing this wrong. And basically they literally said to them to shut up because they knew what they were doing. And that, because of that reason, we didn't accept them on the team. They were still in the process of like trying out, and they were like literally about moments away of like being on the team, but they hadn't signed their thing yet. And so when they said that to the coach, we just let them go because we're like, we just can't have that kind of like mentality. No matter how good you are, you may be a semi-pro.
Yeah,
but
we had one of those tryouts as well, like where it was just me and Sly and Ethan, I think, or it was one of the combinations of me and Sly. And we had a guy that we were playing with and trying out, and he like said something to both me and Sly, and we were both like, dude, you're not on the team yet. I would rather you not say that to your teammates if you can.
Right.
So.
Just like how to speed run your, disapproval of getting in on the team right there. And we've had people in the past who have said some things and just like, kind of, just a red flag or an ick, and it's just like, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have said that, because like now your chances of, being on the team has like dramatically lessened because of just like the mentality issues. And I've always had this talk before with people, and it's just like, it's always good to recruit higher tier players. We're always arms open, welcome people of all skills into this program. If you're a low tier player, and in Overwatch, more than likely and if we know that you have good communication, you have good energy, you have just a good vibe about yourself, and we can see you getting along with the team, and we can see like you improving in the future, we'll still pick you up, even though like you may be bronze or silver. We'll still pick you up, and you definitely won't be a starter, but you will for sure be a sub. And we'll still like sub you in for scrims or whatnot, still get you some play time, but we want you to be like always grinding, try and get your rank up. But we aren't going to like dismiss you when you come try out because your rank may not be the best. As long as you have the right mentality and the right just vibe about you, more than likely we're going to accept you, because to us that's bigger than your skill at that moment, because people can always improve. Just because you're at a low rank at that moment doesn't mean you can be at a higher rank 2 months from now, 3 months from now. So that's what our mentality has always been in Overwatch, and we've said the same thing with higher tier players. Is like we also are the same thing with them. We welcome them with open arms, and we want them to feel like they can try out for our team and whatnot. But the higher tier players are more than likely to have like a really high ego, and it's not saying not all of them do, because I've met high tier players who are just perfectly fine.
Like Helix, he's not here yet, but he will be here. He's wonderful. I mean, we have really good vibes with him. Great teammate.
Yep.
Like, we just really connect with all of them. Everybody connects with him. And like
Will's SSL, high tier, perfect
player,
perfect.
With everybody else, and can match really well, and understands that some people are under level and need to put in more time.
They just may need to put more time than the rest of us, but doesn't mean we can't accept them for what their rank is at the moment. They just may not have a guaranteed spot on the starter roster, but who knows, if they keep grinding and they keep doing well, who knows, maybe they will get that starting position at one point. But that's how we've always taken it for the Overwatch team. And I've always noticed that just like higher tier players are the ones who tend to just think they know the game more than anybody else, because they're just a higher rank. And so we typically do have some issues with ego and just like thinking they're better than everybody on the team, so they could do whatever they want. So it's good to recruit higher tiers, but it comes with, I think, more of a risk, because they could also be very volatile. We could sign them on one month, and then they just say, oh well, I've had a better offer, and then they're out of here the next month. So it's like, I mean, it's always good to have good players, like high tier players, but just got to be careful sometimes, because you just never know. It's just, you always want to have enough players. Like with Overwatch, we have like, I can't remember, I think it's like 7 or 8 of us. So it's like, if some of us ever just randomly just gets up and go, we have that one person just to slide in, and we may have to like teach them whichever role they may need to be at. But it shouldn't take too long of a time than it is to just completely miss someone and you having to recruit someone, and then you have to fit them in the team, fit them to match the energy and whatnot. And so that's what I think the biggest thing about recruiting just high tier players. You just gotta watch out sometimes, because it's just, and I mean, I'm saying not like specifically like targeting high tier players, like players in general. They could get up and go the next.
I mean,
the next day.
It's all on personality.
Yeah, but it's you tend to see it more in higher tier players. But I've always said, at my workshop I did yesterday and about to do mine here this evening, I said that it's the mental game in esports is really important, and it's just as important as in like traditional sports. Because the other team could purposely try to get in your head, and therefore you're going to be playing worse because they're in your head, and you're just constantly like just fuming with rage, and you're like, man, I could beat these guys, and then you beat yourself up, and then you perform worse than you wanted to perform. So
yeah, like so whenever we came back from break, we had a game on Tuesday. And not playing together over break and everything like that, kind of it accumulates and it piles up, and we ended up staying pretty close with the team who was fighting Scots. And as a team, we just weren't calming. We didn't have that connection that we did right before break, and it just got to us mentally, I think, and we kind of fell apart a little bit. But now that we've been grinding ranked threes and doing scrims and everything like that, and tryout scrims and stuff. And I think we've gotten our connection way back better.
With each other for a while, you kind of get, you just lose that, synergy and just connection with each other. And it was like for the first time ever last summer, we actually did have practice for Overwatch. And I definitely saw we just kept that flow going. As soon as the semester ended, I think we took like just a couple week break, and then we immediately got back into it with like scrimming and just playing with each other and just trying to keep that flow going. Never making it like never make it just stop. Just keep it going, so it's not getting interrupted just because we're on break and whatnot. And I did notice that we were doing a lot better. Like as soon as we got back for the following semester, we were just already on it. We already been playing with each other for over 3 months over the summer, and we were just already on our game, and we just went from there. And I feel like breaks are good to have, breaks are good to take every week, like for spring break or Thanksgiving break. It's fine to take a week break, but it is like you just gotta know that when you do come back for practice and scrims, that you are going to be a little discombobulated there, because you haven't touched a game in over a week, so you kind of just forget how big of a toll it takes on you, mentally, and you just kind of prep yourself for it, because it does catch you by surprise when you hop back on that game for not being on it for a week, and I'm like, man, I forget how much I have to pay attention to.
Stay consistent.
Yeah, stay consistent. It's just the consistency is really important. And we did that over the summer, and I noticed a major improvement than the last summer of just being gone for 3 months and not touching the game, and then playing the game over the summer. It was pretty big difference, I noticed. But yeah, it's just another thing. It's just consistency is pretty important, and I don't know. It's just one of the important things I noticed just in esports. There's a lot to it than people realize, and that's another thing I feel like you have to look forward to. Is just sometimes with people, it gets a little too much for them, and they can't really handle it, and you just have to I feel like with a team, you don't want to with recruitment, especially mid to high tier players, you really don't want to if it's their first time ever in a competitive scene. I feel like you don't want to try to overwhelm them too much. You kind of want to
So that's when the start of this Rocket League season, I think we had a game the next week. So I had a week to get adjusted, and to get adjusted to the PC, because I play on console.
Yeah.
It was a little rough, but it was honestly better, because jumping from console to PC is easier than doing it the other way around.
Yeah, and I guess having that short of time to get used to it, I guess it kind of did help you a little bit, because you just like, I don't have this much time. I have to like grind. I have to get used to it quick, because you don't want to hit you like a truck when you know it's game day and you're like,
so
oh crap.
Our NECC matches didn't start until like the next 2 weeks, so it wasn't like serious, but I think they were against different schools. I'm not sure what kind of matches they were, because it was the beginning of the semester. Don't really remember, but they were matches against schools. It might have been scrims, but I'm pretty sure it was an actual game for something. I think it was a placement. That's what it was. Placement.
Yeah, I remember to do the placements to get into your division. Yeah.
That's what they were. They were placements, and I was like thrown right into them, and I was like, oh, this is tough.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you definitely don't want to scare new players off with like the amount of work we do up in here, because it takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of consistency of making sure you come to practice every day, or whenever you do have practice, make sure you come to practice, and like you do with like classes, try not to miss. If you do have to miss, either it just has to be like you just can't come type of reasoning, because it's just a big commitment. Because if you miss one day of practice, and you come back the next day or whenever you come back next, and it's just like it could be a week, just however long you're missing, it just could be just a big difference the next time you come back. And I guess the same thing goes for like just recruits and like people who are new to esports, because we welcome people of all kinds of experience, whether you have no experience in esports but you want to start your experience with us, or you've been a part of many different esports programs and you want to continue that journey with us. We welcome people of all sorts of paths, but the ones who want to start their career with us, and they have no clue how to just what to expect, and then we just over flood them with information. Yeah, we practice at this time, we do scrimmages, we do aim training.
I think what mostly helped me is that I have a sports background, so
true. So you knew
used to practicing and different scheduling conflicts and whatnot, and time management and everything with classes.
Yeah, so you was already you just knew right there from
I knew when I was trying out this is going to be pretty relatively commitment. If it wasn't, then I wasn't going to do it. Which with Owen, it kind of gave me a little bit of insight, because he's my roommate. So it was. I see him going to practice just nearly every day, or captain in gray, and listening to him come back from a game hyped because he won or something. So I think that's what mainly got me down to
got you going for it. Yeah, is living with someone who's always in on it. Yeah. When I first came here, like I said earlier, I came here because I had a recommendation from a friend in high school who came with me. And they're like, oh, I know, how much you love games, and, just go try out and see if you can, see if this is something for you. I was like, oh, after days of them just bugging me to, oh, try out, you never know. And I'm like, fine, I'll go try out. And then I go and try out, and, of the 3 games at the time that we had, Overwatch was the one that I had probably the most knowledge on, even though I wasn't that good in terms of rank. And so I just go, and I realized that I didn't have the game on my PC. I only had it on Xbox, and they had computers and Xboxes. So I had to go buy the game that day of. And I was just really, we didn't have scrims, or we didn't have really anything going on. It was just a walk-in tryout, and I think the captain at the time was just there, and would just walk around and see what people were doing and whatnot. And I don't know what I was doing, but I guess I did something to get someone's attention back then, and they wanted me back the next day or the day after or something like that. They wanted me back to come back and talk with me, and so I talked with them, and ever since I've been on the Overwatch team since. But I never had a sports background, so I never really knew truly how much of a commitment it was. And my first 2 semesters of being here, we didn't really do much because the program was like still really new, so we didn't really know how to go from there. And so in terms of like Overwatch, only thing that we really did was like practice would just be like we would just play competitive, and maybe we'd have a scrim here and there, but it was mainly just like hop on as a team, we play some competitive and go from there. And but like as you know, when Austin later on joined the program, and you know this wasn't his first rodeo, like he had previously directed his esports program back at his home college, so he already knew what to do. And so when he came in here, he was like, you know, getting us ready. You know, he had practices for us to do. He had like routines for us to do. He had like, you know, scrims, and he was about to sign us up for some like leagues to play in. And like this was just like all so new to me at the time, and so I had no clue what was going on really, because there was so many changes.
How did you get introduced into the program? I don't think we went over that.
It was somebody from the college came to my high school, you know, one day, and they were doing, you know, like a presentation on it, like you probably know, but they, you know, they were going through the slides, you know, all about the college and stuff, and then like the esports thing came up, and I was like, okay, because, you know, like I love playing video games. Like I was playing Apex literally every single day. Like it was getting on my mom's nerves at the point. But yeah, I was literally playing, you know, games every single day. And they, you know, I was talking about how like they had an esports program, and, you know, if you like games, like that might be something for you. And I was like looking at the list of the game, and I was like, you know, reading them, and Apex was the last one. And I was like, that's where I'm going. That's what I'm doing.
And you made up your mind.
Because I was originally looking and going to a college in Virginia, but that's when, like, you know, a couple days later, you know, like the people came from Concord, and I was like, that's where I'm going. So
you just made your mind up right then and there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I always knew I was going to go into Concord, because I literally just lived 2 minutes down from here. And so it was just something I knew through family, because at one point my mom went through here, my grandma worked at here at one point, so Concord was just like kind of in the family. So I said that, well, if I was going to go to a college, I would just go to Concord, because it's just something I just know exists down here, and it's, you know, I don't have to, you know, live in a dorm and, you know, pay extra money. I could just like still live at home and just drive back and forth every day. And so that's what I do now, and that's what I wanted to do back then. And so, excuse me, back then I didn't really know of like the esports program back then. And I knew what esports was because, you know, I watched Twitch and you know, so I just knew some knowledge of it, but I didn't really know of like esports on a college level. Yeah, I just only knew of like all Cloud9, Fnatic, Optic.
Yeah,
that's what I thought of. Yeah,
what I knew it of as like just like big sports or
big names. Yeah,
names.
That's what I thought of, and so I was like, I didn't know esports could be played collegiately. Yeah. So I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. And I keep seeing like flyers for it of like walk-in tryouts, and finally after my friend was, you know, pestering me about it for days, I was like, fine, I'll go and see what it's about. And I told you, I just told you a second ago, but yeah, I walked in there, tried out. They wanted me to come back, and ever since been here for 4 years now, about to graduate in 2 months. But yeah, it's, I don't know, it's interesting to see kind of like people's like stories and how they got here, because when we were talking on the last episode to business about it, we were talking about how he got, you know, what made him come here and what made him be interested in our esports program. And well, he had said at first that like his college of choice was going to be WVU, and well, WVU didn't have an esports program, and when he, you know, like none of like people, he lives in Mingo County, so like on the border of the Ohio River, And he said people up there don't really know of Concord. They just really know of like Marshall because they live really close to Marshall and WVU and like a couple other colleges. They didn't really know of Concord down here. And so when he heard of Concord and how we had an esports program and Overwatch is the game he plays, was a part of those teams we had, I think that's like what sold him to come down here. And we tried him out and whatnot. But and I don't know. I think it's interesting because like you have a little bit of people who just like me, who just came down here, and then the opportunity arose, and they came to esports not knowing that they were going to come down here for esports, and then you have people like business who like didn't even know the university existed in the first place, and then when he first heard about it, that's when he decided to take the step down here. Well, thank you again for tuning in to the ConcordXp podcast, the 8th episode with Wiley, aka Smiley, and we appreciate you guys tuning in on us. And please, if you haven't, subscribe, hit that bell, and then follow on all of our socials. Thank you.